are live, I think. Oh, there we go. Audio. Talk.
Hello, Pod Smashers of the Internet, and welcome to another 80-bit newscast
That's right.
for the week of January 25th, 2021.
We are your hosts, Penguin and Termite. I am Penguin.
I am Termite, and we are a weekly video game news running you through the things that have happened over the last week, sitting here talking to you folks, our lovely audience, about the things that we care about this week.
I realized I didn't do that. Things are a little different today.
That's what I was waiting for.
Termite is in. Yeah, I know. I realized that now in hindsight. I was like, Termite and I have to do things a little differently today. I am hosting on my laptop because he is, you can tell by his background, in a hotel in a very different spot than he normally is in. So yeah, we're doing this a little differently. And hopefully it'll work out. Do you want to do a quick sound check on the phone? Pull it up and see if sound is coming through.
I have it on my phone, but it's laggy and not working because of slow cellular network, and I don't want to bog the very slow, already strained internet of the hotel.
That's fair. All right, well, feel free to tell us if there is any sound. I will pull it up on my phone. How about that? Because I don't really.
You should do that.
Have an easy way of doing this.
Technical hurdles to overcome in.
Yeah, so we just want to make, again, we have lots of technical hurdles to overcome on this one. Oh, nope.
Hey, I hear something. So something's coming through. You loaded up a pasta. So tonight, folks, everyone of the internet, we're going to run through some things. Microsoft messed up some very interesting messaging regarding the Xbox Live Gold. We're going to talk about that. There was a whole bunch of Resident Evil updates that also happened this week, as well as what is Activision doing with Blizzard's development teams. There's a shakeup over there. Gabe Newell had an interview with regarding Valve, and apparently there's some games in development, so we'll talk about that. And Apple is entering the VR space. Those are our 5 news stories we are going to discuss tonight.
Very nice. I don't think my sound is coming through, so hold on.
So you are completely muted, and I am just hanging out with the internet, looking at you folks, and you missed half of our intro, and somehow Penguin's audio is not coming through. So I'm just going to fill the dead air. I hope you guys are all having a lovely week. Here I am, hours away from home.
Check.
An entirely different and hours away from my home, where I normally host the stream. So kudos to Penguin. Give it up for him for dealing with all of the technical difficulties that we had to deal with today, because it's been a lot. And I have been sidelined with my head in the sand of what is called work and my actual 9 to 5.
Okay, hold on.
So this is what you lovely folks get.
Testing.
There's a delay. So if I hear my words delay and not your words testing, then I know.
Oh, I hear myself.
You aren't coming through.
I do hear myself. There is sound. There's definitely sound coming through. I need to turn it up way up, though, so we're going to do that.
Turn it way up.
And hope that is better. It looks like it's better. Now I'm going to check again.
But does it sound like it's better?
Okay, it sounds like it's better. Do you hear it now?
I hear you. I hear me. There's an echo through our stream.
Okay, it sounds like it's better. All right, yeah, okay. All right, we're live. We're real.
Now we can talk.
It's happening. Okay, 5 minutes in. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties. It has been a whirlwind of like 24 hours trying to figure out how to get this
has been
done.
A day,
a
journey.
Long story short, Penguin's laptop just completely sucks. So I'm actually using my wife's laptop. The camera actually is probably better on this. But hey, I spent money on this thing over the holidays, so might as well put it to good use for myself for once. So, that is...
I already went through all of the headlines.
You went through all the headlines. Great. I don't even know what we're talking about, so let's find out. Did we do housekeeping? Did you do the thing about how if you are watching this
I left that just for you.
Oh, thank you. If you're watching this in chat, then please feel free, or watching this in chat, if you're watching this live, please feel free to ask questions, say comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas, feedback, corrections, any of that stuff. Feel free to drop it in chat. We will respond to it at the end when we are done with our news show stuff. And yeah, other than that, let's jump right in, unless there's anything else
Yes, of course, we have to tell the lovely folks where else we exist on the internet. We have a weekly video game podcast every single Monday. The episodes drop at midnight. We just launched an episode this morning about Hollywood and celebrities and cameos in video games.
Yep.
And that is live now on all podcasting platforms that you could possibly care about. Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. And you can find links to all of those lovely podcast platforms over at 80bitpodsmash.com. And be sure to check out our Discord server. There's a link in all of our show notes to our server where you can jump in and collaborate with our community and hang out and join them in whatever things that we're all doing and digging, as well as our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. We have subreddits that you can create one. You can jump in any conversation there as well. And be sure to come right back here Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for a live gameplay stream. This week, Penguin is going to be doing some cool things, and I don't know what yet.
I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't either. But we will be here.
I did Nier Automata last time. I think I streamed 2 weeks ago, and I'm still playing that. But I don't think I'm going to do that again. I think I'm going to do Demon Souls. I have my PlayStation 5 camera now, so I think I want to stream natively on the PlayStation 5 with Demon Souls. Not set in stone yet, though, so there will be an announcement. So follow all those socials so that you get alerted as to when I'm going live. So, all right.
And lastly, every Monday night right here, 8 p.m. Eastern, we have a weekly news show. So if you're watching this by YouTube, be sure to check out our twitch.tv/80bitpodsmash channel. Subscribe so you get notified of all of our goings-ons and not miss a thing. And if you're on YouTube, then please go to 80bitpodsmash.com where all the rest of us exist.
Cool. All right, well, then let's jump right into it. This first story is a bit of a roller coaster, and ultimately only changes a little bit for Xbox players. But this week, Xbox announced that they would be raising the prices of Xbox Live Gold. A lot of people, fans and analysts, believe this was an attempt to try to funnel more people into Game Pass because Xbox Live Gold is bundled into Game Pass. So if you're going to pay more for something, you might as well get more, right? Wrong. Fans were just mad. And it blew up. So
there's a lot to unpack about that. But I will read at least the intro blurb from Microsoft about what they intended. This is the original message. It launched Friday night and was very quickly corrected on Saturday. So we'll get into the correction in a moment.
That's right. It was like within 24 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So here's what they said on Friday night. This is right from Xbox.com. Since we launched Xbox Live 18 years ago, we've been working to make it the most advanced multiplayer network available for the greatest community of gamers, and there are a lot of you. Millions of people come together on Xbox to play with friends and discover great games. We invest in our community by strengthening the digital safety of our players, enabling new ways to share, communicate, and play with your friends, and delivering industry-leading reliability across our network. And then it goes on to talk about some other things that Microsoft Live has not changed for years, and in some markets it hasn't changed over 10 years. So what does this mean for you? If you're an existing member and no price change for the rest of your duration of your membership, here's the kicker. The price of 1 month gold membership is increasing $1, and the price of a 3-month membership is increasing $5 or the equivalent amount in your local market. If you'd like to upgrade your gold membership to Game Pass Ultimate, your remaining gold time will now convert directly to Ultimate up to 36 months. Going forward, new pricing will be 1 month for $10.99, 3 months for $29.99, and 6 months for $59.99, or your local market equivalent. Let me repeat that just for you guys to hear that. 6 months of Xbox Live Gold. This is the base online service that allows you to play online with your friends.
And gives you monthly games. So it's comparable to PlayStation Plus, which we spend
$60 a year on the Sony side. This is $59.99 for 6 months, meaning double. A full year is $120.
Double. They doubled the price. This wasn't just like a $10, $15 increase. This was doubling it. I mean, this was exactly what people thought it was. It was an attempt to try to get people onto Game Pass Ultimate because that is an absurd price. So
to add insult to injury, Xbox Live Gold is required to play free-to-play games like Fortnite. So if your child just wanted to play Fortnite online, you would have to fork out $120 a year in the middle of a global pandemic when people are losing their jobs and more financially strapped and relying on consoles to connect with their friends.
This was so dumb. This is such a dumb move. I can't believe they did this. Like, I get it. I mean, when you think about it in terms of trying to get people onto Game Pass, I get it. But you don't do so by twisting people's arms. This is like economics 101. Entice people by creating something you want them they want to have. Don't force them out of something they don't want to have, or don't force them out of something they want to have to get something that they may not want to have, just to continue to have what they have. Yeah, it was insane. I don't even know. But
and this entire decision and move is totally against everything that Microsoft has been doing since Phil Spencer took the head back in like 2015.
Yeah.
Like, they have been so consumer friendly.
Right.
Game Pass is the best game in entertainment.
So, to hint at what it didn't even take. I mean, within this 24 hours news cycle, basically, they were getting raked over the coals by their fans. There was fear growing among Sony fans that Sony players that Sony would take the cue and also do a similar price hike. Someone even said that Sony could raise the price only by $20 and make you pay $80 a month, and it would still be cheaper, still be more affordable, and still be a better value than what Xbox did. So there was fears of a price hike, but again, within this 24-hour cycle of events, basically, Xbox backpedaled. And Saturday afternoon, I think they released a statement saying, "Do you have the statement on hand?"
Do. It's right here in front of me.
All right, go for it. I knew you would. I knew you would.
Yep. They say, and I quote, "We messed up today, and you were right to let us know. Connecting and playing with friends is a vital part of gaming, and we failed to meet the expectations of players who count on it every day. As a result, we have decided not to change the Xbox Live Gold pricing. We're turning this moment into an opportunity to bring Xbox Live more in line with how we see the player at the center of their experience. For free-to-play games, you will no longer need an Xbox Live Gold membership to play those games on Xbox. We are working hard to deliver this change as soon as possible in the coming months. If you're an Xbox Live Gold member already, you stay at your current price for renewal. New and existing members can continue to enjoy Xbox Live Gold for the same prices they pay today." And if you want the breakdown, it's $9.99 for a month, $24.99 for 3 months, $39.99 for 6 months, and $59.99 for 12. So, yep, they very quickly was like, nope, and we're going to give the players a little bonus, so now you can play your Fortnite for free.
Yep.
So you don't need to have an Xbox Live.
Exactly. So they're bringing
free-to-play games.
So this whole debacle ended up being a net gain for Xbox players. The Xbox Live...
Yep.
The Xbox Live Gold membership now is pretty much in line with the value you get from PlayStation Plus. Everyone can play free to get... Everyone can now officially, on whatever platform they're playing on, play any free-to-play game for free for the first time in like 10 years. So that's kind of cool. And then in addition to that, you can now buy, or you now get the ability to play other games online with people, paid games online with people, and you get games with gold and a select amount of games per month. So... yeah, like I said, it's more in line now with what PlayStation Plus offers. So net gain, but still, it was kind of a crappy move. There were some people saying on Reddit speculating whether the whole thing was a PR move, but it's not, because they had already, people were like, nope, GameStop and whatnot already had like received the banners to change the physical car. Like this was an actual they were legitimately trying to pull this one over and have had to backpedal hard on it. So hey, whatever, mistakes they make. Xboxes, they've been making a lot of good moves recently, and they made one misstep. So
they quickly, I commend them for how fast they turned it around. It was like 24 hours, and they're like, okay, here you go. And this message is very much in line with how they've been since like 2015.
Right.
Kudos to Microsoft. Go try Game Pass. It's the best deal in entertainment. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. In entertainment altogether, you think it's a better deal than like?
Yep.
Okay.
Right. Hours of entertainment to money value. There's no comparison.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's almost too much. There's too much in Game Pass to play.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. All right, cool. Well, then that leads us to our next. Do you have any other comments on the Microsoft debacle? All right, moving on. There was a Resident Evil showcase this week, and they announced a lot of stuff, or showed off a lot of stuff for Village, including dropping a demo, like a visual demo. So yeah, what were your thoughts on what was announced during the showcase?
Sure. This is Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer. Tonight's Resident Evil showcase was heavy on news about the upcoming Resident Evil Village, which was announced for release on May 7th, 2021. So that's the first piece of news. May 7th, Resident Evil Village coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series SX, and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And so it's coming to all the consoles with a free digital upgrade to the next gen version, regardless of which version so if you buy a disc, you'll get the digital upgrade, but you still have to have the disc in there. So it's a digital patch essentially. If you don't have a PS5, there's a demo that was released. So it's a bummer if you don't own a PS5, but the demo is a PS5 exclusive, and it was released. What was it called?
Maiden.
Thank you. Yes, a demo called Maiden, which is very much in line with what Resident Evil 7's demo was called Kitchen. It's visual in the sense that there's no combat and there's no interaction with things. You just kind of walk around. It's like a walking simulator, and it's not any content that is actually in the game, but it's set in the same environment. So what you're seeing in the demo is not going to transfer over. It's just this entirely isolated thing. It is very much PlayStation 5 exclusive only. And apparently it shows off the graphical prowess of the engine and what you can expect tonally from the game itself.
Cool. Did you say they announced the date when it comes out?
May 7th.
May 7th. Okay, yeah, sorry. That was
the first thing I announced.
Honestly, it was stuck in my head. I wanted to comment on how it reminds me of PT, what PT was doing with Playable Trailer. Even though PT was a little bit more unique in the sense that it was the announcement, it was the confirmation the Silent Hill game was coming out, as opposed to Village was of course announced last year. But yeah, you had mentioned that you're not that excited about Resident Evil Village after.
Yeah, so like showcase. Resident Evil took a turn. So Resident Evil, Capcom and how they've developed. Resident Evil 5 was the last like numbered version Resident Evil that I loved, because 6 was terrible, like absolute trash. Right. And that's when Capcom was kind of going through their transition period toward the greatness they have now. And Resident Evil 7 is greatly received by the community. So apparently it's objectively really, really good.
Okay.
But it's first person, and I feel like it doesn't really go or pay homage back to the original Resident Evils that I love so much, which is just like the zombie survival horror third person view kind of thing. And then we had Resident Evil 2 Remake, which was absolutely incredible and everything I wanted out of a Resident Evil game ever, except for Mr. X. Forget him. They need to make Resident Evil 2 without him, and then it would be perfect.
So like almost perfect. Resident Evil
and then
is
Resident Evil 3
out of a next gen, like modern Resident Evil game, whereas the direction they went with Resident Evil 7 is almost feels like
not
a different,
what I want.
Almost feels like a different game. Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then 8 continues that trend. Yeah. It's in fact that same story, by apparently an Ethan Winters is the guy's name, which I don't know.
And they
don't
show his face apparently. Apparently, it's this big thing where like it's like the promotional material, a bunch of promotional shots came out for Village on the same day. I saw them. All the ones that show off Ethan have like cleverly like he's holding a knife like this, and it's just kind of covering his face, or he's like. He's got a gun like this in one of them. It's like, what is he doing? Kissing the gun? And then there's another one where he is looking down a scope, and that one's a little bit more realistic in covering his face. But they seem to go to great lengths to not show his face. And a lot of people, apparently in 7, a lot of people thought that they were trying to hint at the fact that was something important to the story. I don't know if it's that anymore, or if they're just continuing.
Also, interestingly enough, the collector's edition includes all the digital items plus a box of physical bits like a poster, an art book, a steelbook case, and a Chris Redfield figurine. So the main character of the game isn't even in the collector's edition. Chris Redfield, though.
Chris Redfield.
So interesting how they're like hiding all the things about Ethan, but they're still highlighting through PR Chris Redfield, who apparently has a role in 7 and now 8.
Yeah.
Chris Redfield is the main character in Resident Evil 1. For those who don't.
Yeah, he's the OG, and his sister Claire is 2, and all that stuff.
Resident Evil 2.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I still haven't really watched that much from it. I really like the imagery. I mean, the game looks beautiful and looks like what I want out of a horror game. In general. In fact, the game looks more like a Bloodborne game to me than it does Resident Evil because of all the like hairy lycanthropic beasties that they're fighting. It looks very much like Bloodborne to me. So I'm interested in it as a game. I just don't know how I feel about it as a Resident Evil game. And I honestly think I'm going to try 7 is on PlayStation Plus collection.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about...
And I want to try it there too.
Yeah, I'm thinking about giving 7 a shot, and if I like 7, then I might feel like I'm more excited for 8. But I haven't, sold. I'm not sold on it yet, personally. So...
There used to be, and I talked about it in this morning's episode of the podcast, about how I care so much about trophies that sometimes I won't try new games because I don't want a low trophy percentage on my wall.
Right.
Resident Evil 7 might be one of the first exceptions to that rule, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm not going to care about trophies. I just want to see if the game's any good and not worry about trophies or platinum or anything else. And just kind of dip my toe in that water and take the hit on the low trophy percentage and see what happens.
Yep.
There was a few other things announced as
together.
well with the Resident Evil announcement. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So a Resident Evil, Capcom revealed RE-Verse or Reverse Resident Evil. It's a new multiplayer spin-off, and it showed an old trailer for the upcoming CGI Netflix series Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. So Reverse looks to be a competitive multiplayer shooter where you can play as various characters from throughout Resident Evil. Its visuals have a comic book style effect, and it's being beta tested right now. From the footage shown, it still needs a bit of work, and there's no word on a release date. That's for Reverse. But if you buy Resident Evil Village, you get Reverse for free. And then the trailer for the Netflix series, Infinite Darkness, I don't think they gave us a date other than just the trailer showed some fun things.
Cool.
So, and there's finally a Resident Evil crossover with the Division 2. So if you're in the game, Ubisoft, their online shooter, starting February 2nd, we'll have things like Leon's Raccoon City cop outfit, as well as other Resident Evil items sprinkled into. It's a weird crossover to me. Ubisoft Massive and Capcom. I don't know. It's French. Weird. A French studio and a Japanese company are hanging out, and you get Resident Evil materials in the Division 2. There you go. That kind of wrapped up the Resident Evil announcements.
Cool. Awesome. I have no additional comments unless you do, if you want to move on to the big one. All right, moving on. So, the big one. Once again, we find ourselves on the cusp of not only talking about a Jason Schreier article, but talking also about more controversial decisions by Blizzard Entertainment. So here we are again from Bloomberg. Jason Schreier reports that Blizzard absorbs another Activision an Activision studio was assigned to become part of Blizzard Entertainment, further increasing Activision's hold over Blizzard and influence over them, reducing some of their autonomy. And they dismantled, and part of this move was dismantling the Classic Games team, which was responsible for Warcraft 3 Reforged. So, I didn't know if you wanted to read a summary from the article or some kind of...
I love reading summaries. So, this is Jason Schreier's blurb here on Bloomberg.com. Go give him the link. Video game publisher Activision Blizzard Inc. took another step in consolidating control over Division Blizzard Entertainment, which once took pride in its autonomy by shifting a 200-person design studio to its ranks. The studio, Vicarious Visions, has been a subsidiary of Activision since 2005 and worked on franchises like Skylanders, Crash Bandicoot, and Tony Hawk. It will now focus entirely on Blizzard's franchises, including Diablo, instead of making its own games. Former Vicarious Vision studio head Jennifer O'Neill will take a seat on Blizzard's leadership team, reporting directly to the president. The news, reported by GameIndustry.biz, arrived just a few weeks after Blizzard quietly dismantled one of its internal development teams, according to people familiar with the company. Blizzard, the maker of games like World of Warcraft, Overwatch, has traditionally developed most of its games in-house, but in recent years, the Activision publishing arm has taken a stronger hand in Blizzard's operations. Vicarious Visions, based in Albany, New York, has been working with Blizzard since last year on the Diablo franchise, including a planned remake of Diablo 2. People familiar with the plan said, that's what they said, they asked not to be identified, discussing private information. A Blizzard spokesman declined to comment on Vicarious Vision's current projects, only confirming that the studio has been working with Blizzard for some time. So, yeah, this other team that they dissolved, that you were talking about, was called Team 1. Members of Team 1 made Warcraft 3 Reforged, and prior to that, they worked on Heroes of the Storm, and they made StarCraft 2, and they were supposedly working on the Diablo 2 remake. And that team quietly got dissolved and disbanded, and they were looking to shift people from that team around the company and laid them off.
Yeah, some got laid off.
Then, after that had happened, they moved Vicarious Visions off of what they were working on. And this is they, being Activision, moved Vicarious Visions onto Blizzard, theoretically replacing Team 1 on the Diablo remake or Diablo 4 or whatever they're doing over there. And what sucks about this is that Vicarious Visions just came out with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Say, what sucks is
Vicarious
phenomenal. Has been working on good stuff, like their own good stuff. Yeah, that's what bothers. But that bothers me. I've already come to terms with the fact that Blizzard is now basically Activision. I've already come to terms with the fact that most of what Blizzard's going to be putting out from now on is to be suspect and not trustworthy. It sucks that they've completely now forced a developer doing decent work to now be a Blizzard, another Blizzard, crap show. Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. Crap show. You know what I mean? And who knows? Maybe the rumors they're working on the Diablo 2 remake taking over for Team 1, who is working on Diablo 2 Resurrected. Maybe it'll actually be better, now that Vicarious is doing it. It's entirely possible.
Yep.
But it does suck that like the Vicarious is probably hurting more. But yeah, it does mean their leadership now. Vicarious now has a spot on Blizzard's board of directors or whatever, who directly, I heard they report directly, or I read that as they report directly to Activision's president.
Nope.
No, he reports to J. Allen Brack, or she reports to J. Allen Brack. Is that how that? Okay, cool. Well, yep. I guess still that's some potential autonomy, but J. Allen Brack has just proven to be a shill for Activision anyways, so for what it's worth. But
and the writing on the wall was kind of in place for this, because StarCraft 2, there was an announcement that all development would cease on StarCraft 2, and then all of Heroes of the Storm's esports were shut down years ago.
Yeah.
And like, okay. And then Warcraft 3 Reforged came out, limped out, and was actually a flop and horrible. So what was going on at Team 1 for one? Like, let's go into that, because they were amazing with StarCraft 2 and Heroes of the Storm, and then all of a sudden those games got shut down, and Warcraft 3 Reforged is terrible. So that doesn't line up. Like, what's going on with Blizzard's management there?
Who even knows? I think that a lot of this stuff started going downhill the minute Mike Morhaime resigned or whatever. He was the last kind of bastion of Blizzard's autonomy, and I think that he, I'm not going to say he was directly responsible for Team 1's success necessarily, but Team 1 seemed to be doing okay under him. And then he left, and things started to go downhill from there. So it's entirely possible, a lot of the, who knows what happened internally, and I would be speculating at this point. But so this is all entirely speculation, but who knows? People might have quit in solidarity with Mike. They might have lost a lot of talent. Some of their talent might have been moved off to other projects. Who knows? You know what I mean? So everybody who's ever worked for any company ever knows that not everybody who works at that company in that job is talented. And some members of the team are more talented than others. And when those members of the team quit, then the product and quality of the product goes downhill. Whether that's customer service, whether that's construction, whether that's sales, that's, I feel like, true in every industry. There are some people who are talented and harder workers than others, and when those people leave, the quality of the product suffers. And I think that's probably what we're seeing in this case.
Yep.
So,
yeah. So it's there could be a redemption story here, maybe. What sucks though is we're not going to get a Tony Hawk's 3 and 4 remake. We're not going to get a Tony Hawk 6, at least from Vicarious Visions, and that's a bummer to me. But the last thing that Vicarious Visions worked on prior to the most recent Tony Hawk was the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Yeah.
What other amazing IP could they remake? That's awesome. I mean, we saw Toys for Bob do Spyro, and then Toys for Bob did Crash 4. And that's all under the Activision banner, which is great. So losing Vicarious Visions from the Activision perspective kind of sucks to like what's their potential. But the redemption story here was what I was getting at, is maybe this does bump up the quality of what could be Diablo 2 Resurrected, and if they're working on Diablo 4, like maybe that's better too.
Yeah,
who knows?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm more interested in playing a Diablo 2 remake by Vicarious Visions than I am by Team 1. So based on what they did with,
at this point,
if you basically just break it down by the developers and what they've put out in the last year, then give me Vicarious Visions Diablo 2 over Team 1's any day, because they messed up Reforged, Warcraft 3 Reforged. So,
and earlier in our news weeks, we talked about Dreamhaven starting up. The people who started Dreamhaven used to work for Blizzard. They were on Team 1, so and they were the good folks.
Yeah, yep. I think I heard that a lot of the people that got laid off from Team 1 are going to Dreamhaven and Frost Giant, which were both two separate developers that were started by ex-Blizzard veterans. So
founders.
Interested, yeah. Dreamhaven in particular was founded by the aforementioned Mike Morhaime. So it'll be interesting to see in 3 to 5 years what those two developers end up putting out. So from the old guard Blizzard. Anyways, is there anything? Did you want to? You have 2 things written down, but there aren't links to them, so I don't know if you wanted to cover them or not. But
you don't have the most up-to-date notes because there are links in them now. They've been there since before we started the show. But we'll just tackle the next one in line, which should be about Gabe Newell.
Okay. Yep, that's it.
Okay, we'll talk about that because it's pretty short.
We'll talk about that. So there's no one watching, but if anyone hops in to hear me say this next thing right now is drop your chats in the chat, and we will respond to them after this next story.
Questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, concerns, let us know, and we'll answer them in just a few minutes. So here we go. IGN, Jordan Ullman reports Gabe Newell says that Valve has more games in development waiting to be announced. And in an interview with New Zealand's One News, Valve boss Gabe Newell said that multiple games are in development at the studio and are waiting to be announced. The Valve co-founder has been staying in New Zealand during COVID-19 after taking a vacation there following the launch of Half-Life Alyx. Must be nice to be that rich, to be on a vacation and be like, well, there's a pandemic, I'm going to stay here for a while. Anyway, we definitely have games in development that we're going to be announcing. It's fun to ship games, Newell said when asked about future games coming out of Valve. Valve has developed and subsequently canceled a lot of games in the past, including several versions of Half-Life 3. The fact that Newell specifically says these new games will be announced suggests a shift from the company's recent history of being reticent to release new software. So how do you think about that?
All the threes. The threes are coming. Half-Life 3, Portal 3, Team Fortress 3.
Team Fortress 3. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean,
right?
Valve has not. They were content to rake in money from Steam. So to hear that they are that they have kind of ramped up their production again, maybe they're entirely new IPs. But even if they're new IPs, they're likely to have that Valve stamp of quality. Valve doesn't make a lot, but what they make is not junk. So.
Mm-hmm. There was this weird trend where Valve was just this amazing CD Projekt Red, BioWare, all of those companies that now have kind of fallen from grace. Valve was that company that never really fell from grace. They just stepped aside.
Yeah, they just were
their early to mid PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 cycle. We saw the Orange Box come out where we had Portal 1 and 2 and Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 and Team Fortress 2 just dominating the conversation. And I mean, that was Team Fortress 2 was the Overwatch of then, as it is Overwatch is now. And there was no battle royales. There was Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
And we had the online communities of Counter-Strike Go starting up and all of this stuff. So Valve was this zeitgeist of amazing PC gaming that got translated to consoles and did a really well conversion. I played Portal 2 on PlayStation 3, and I didn't really do that on purpose. I did it because they gave me the PC version for free when you bought the PS3 version. So I was like, well, I'm going to get the one on PS3 because I kind of get 2 copies. So I'm just going to do that, and ended up playing it on the PS3 anyway, just for fun. And so where did Valve go? What are they doing? And now here they are. It's extremely exciting to hear that they might be coming out with software again. Yeah. So they're not just a platform. The last game they made was Dota and then Artifact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Ancient.
So, and of course Half-Life Alyx, which is a VR game and not really a mainstream PC game. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited about this news. I toured the studio of Valve and it was absolutely incredible. I actually walked through their offices in Bellevue. I don't think that's right. Washington. I know they're in Washington because I was out there. I went to Seattle. It's one of the suburbs of Seattle. Maybe I don't know what the name of the city was, but I went there and it was fantastic.
Nice.
I miss them. So I hope they come back in true form, ready to go, dominating conversation again.
Do it. They're going to be all VR games.
I hope not.
I hope not either. All right. Well, that is the show. That is the news show for the day. So again, apologies for the technical difficulties. Apologies for any weirdness. I feel like I'm going to need to go back and watch the replay Twitch clip because I'm not entirely sure we were muted when we were supposed to be muted during the starting now screen.
Awesome.
We'll find out. It'll be funny and amusing and awkward. And
yep.
When we blow up in 5 years, people will go back and harvest all these hilarious clips for blooper reels.
When I added the possessive to 80 bits, I definitely had a cuss word or two in there too. And we're a family-friendly podcast, so hearing Termite cuss might be jarring.
Just completely traumatizing for some child. Termite, no!
It could be.
Anyways, well then, let's let them, remind them where they can watch us, where they can see us next, and then we'll send them off.
Sure. This Wednesday, right here at twitch.tv/80bitpodsmash, Penguin Man's going to stream something, probably Nier Automata.
No, probably
maybe it's Demon Souls. That's what he said. And that'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern right here. Also, go to our website, 80bitpodsmash.com, where you'll find links to all of our social media platforms, as well as our podcast show that goes live every week on Monday at midnight. And be sure to come right back here next Monday. I don't even know what date that will be. Maybe January 31st, maybe February 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday night, right here at twitch.tv/80bitpodsmash for another round of weekly video game news.
Huzzah. All right, we'll see you then.